Are double pawns bad? Well, not exactly. I'm going to show you why a lot of times I prefer to have double pawns. And I'm going to show you an example from one of my games I played recently. So let's dive in and let's play some chess. Okay, in this position, my opponent just played bishop g4. And a lot of players would be concerned about this because black is threatening to double the pawns on the king side. Now, it's all about context. So yes, that would double the pawns, but it's not necessarily a weakness. And the reason why that is the king is not committed to the king side. If my king was castled, then yes, this would be a pretty substantial weakness because now my king is vulnerable because I have a busted fortress, right? However, my king is not committed yet to the king side. It doesn't have to go there. It could still go queen side. And what do we notice about the queen side? We have a nice home to put our king there, right? So basically what you want to do here is challenge the bishop, and this is what I played. And I also should note, if the bishop retreats, again, a lot of players will be concerned about playing this because it weakens their king side, pushing pawns on the king side. However, the king is not committed there. Yes, if the king was here, that would be a weak king. However, we would just go queen side. We have a safe fortress for our king. And not only that, when kings are castled on opposite sides of the board from each other, one of the main strategies is to launch the pawns at your opponent. And look at us, we have a head start on our opponent because black retreated the bishop. So if the black does that, we're good. And if black takes, we're good. Black actually should just concede that he made a mistake and come back here. That's the best move and challenge my bishop. However, black in this position took the knight and doubled the pawns, which gives me an open G file to black's king. Okay, now my opponent played d4, knight d4, attacking this weakness right here. But again, the only piece that can really get to this is the knight. And this would be a problem if he took because he would be checking my king and my queen. That would be a fork and I would lose the game. So I just simply chopped off the knight, no big deal, and then just castled. Okay, my opponent played c6 here. Now it's doing a couple of things. It's preparing to play b5 because, again, when our kings are on opposite sides of the board, we want to launch the pawns at each other. And it's also allowing the queen to get into the game. And it's also supporting a central break with e5. So strong players, when they make a move, it usually has multiple ideas attached to it. Okay, so I just played knight e2 here. And just did a little technical work here to get my rook on an open G file. And now my opponent plays queen b6. Now, what's the threat with queen b6? It's threatening bishop e3. Bishop e3 would pin and win my queen. We don't want that. But we also have a really good attack brewing because of the open G file, right? Now, we also have an open diagonal here with the bishop, and our queen can jump into the game. Now, this rook would also be useful on the G file, but this bishop's cutting in and covering that square. And also, priority, we have to stop this. So, in this position, I played d4 and stuffed the bishop. After my opponent took back, now it just buys me enough time to go on offense. And the whole point is, what I'm showing you the rest of this game is look how important it is to have the open G file. Now I play queen h6. I'm threatening checkmate. If there was a pawn in front of here, let me borrow this guy, this would be nothing, right? So now we have this threatening checkmate, essentially forcing g6. That's the best move in this position, which is, it's pretty hopeless right now. It's mate in 5. So I just sacked the rook. And the reason why I sacked the rook, again, is a couple of reasons. I have an open bishop here to this diagonal, pinning this pawn, and I have this rook ready to replace that rook on an open G file. So when my opponent takes back, I simply take this pawn. My opponent can't take back because he's pinned. So I got 2 pawns and the knight for the rook. So material's even, but more importantly, my opponent has no king. I just played rook G1, cutting the king off. I'm threatening checkmate on G7 and on H4. My opponent cannot defend both, although he tried, but got checkmated. So that's why double pawns a lot of times are great. Add this idea to your arsenal. If you like that video, I have many more videos coming out soon. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. Now get out there and go practice your chess.